Just an example of what it'll look like when you complete everything in a lesson. So the lesson that I have pulled up is just an example. It's Unit 9, Lesson 7. So when you click on each lesson, you're going to have to read and do what every single screen says. So for example, this first screen gives you some information. It just says, what do the data in this graph show? Gives you some information, gives you some words that you need to click on to see the definitions, and so on. Okay, so you're going to click the next arrow after you've completed whatever that screen tells you. And then it tells you what you need as a learning coach and what the student needs. So your learning coach will need Math Plus Yellow lesson guide to complete this lesson. So that means the learning coach will be using that lesson guide in the learning coach materials. And then the student will be using the Math Plus Yellow student version, and they'll be looking at pages 339 to 342. So you can either use the paper copy of the book that you have at home, or you can click this link under materials and it'll bring the book up online for you. And then you just click on the title and you will be able to view the pages of the book that you need to complete. Takes just a second to load there. Once you get to the book, or whenever you open your hardback book that you have at your house, it'll tell you the lesson overview. So for this math lesson, it's telling you that there's two portions that you do online. One takes about 15 minutes, one takes about 20 minutes. And then there are two offline portions that you also need to complete, which will take about 25 minutes total. So each math lesson takes approximately an hour total. So it'll go through, it'll tell you the lesson objectives, prerequisite skills, and so on. You'll go on to the next page, and it kind of walks you right through it. So it tells you again how long each portion will take you and a little overview. For the offline portions, these are the parts that you will complete together as learning coach and student. So it tells you exactly what to say to the student, questions to ask the student, and so on and so forth. Learning Coach Guide, you will have access to some information with answers and sample problems. And it's very important to go through all of the worked examples with your student to make sure they understand all of the steps. We do go over some of this in class, but a lot of the material in math especially is material that needs to be gone over with the learning coach as well. We're just going to go back here to where we got those materials. And we're going to keep clicking on those arrows to see what happens next. So when we click the next arrow, it gives us this Germs Math Mashup game. So the expectation, if that is something that pops up in your lesson, is that you click on it and you play the game to review. After you've played the game to review, you'll click the next arrow. And you're going to want to complete whatever's on each and every screen. So sometimes it takes a couple of seconds to load. On each screen, you're going to want to complete whatever the required task is. I'm going to skip through a little bit. At the very end of each lesson, mark the lesson as complete. When you do that, you'll click the check mark. In an incomplete lesson, that check mark won't be there. You'll click the check mark, and it'll ask you to enter how many minutes your student spent completing that activity. You may need to go back on some of the lessons already completed. If that was not done the first time, click go to attendance, and you're going to have to enter in some of your time.